Hello, Supercoaches. It is round 9. Welcome to the preview podcast, Magic Round, and we've got a Magic panel as well today. We'll introduce Joe Nadaf, the former champion. How's your team travelling?
Good to be, mate. I was flying up to 4 weeks. I was in the 600s. So how easy this year going to be? Making cash, making all the right moves, and all of a sudden, 4 or 5 bad weeks in a row. I think about 9,000. So, good thing is you can go up easy and go down easy. So, thinking positive.
Rob Sutherland, how are you travelling?
I'm angry, Thomas.
Yes.
I'm really angry. And I'm blaming you and Jet because he disagrees with me.
Well, should we just get it out of the way to start with?
Justice for Starling, mate. Absolutely thieved a try assist.
Ropeable.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. The voice of reason.
That's so right. What's your reasoning behind
So let's set the scene, all right? The Raiders are rolling forward. They're coming up onto the try line. Starling looks at who the hell are they playing? The Warriors? No, whoever it was. He looks at the opposition, right? Looks at the Dolphins. He looks, he counts, he turns to his players, he holds his fingers up, he calls his play, right? He crouches down, he does his job. He throws the ball out to Hosking, having called Papali. So everyone's looking at him. They called it in the commentary. They said, normally it's a Papali face ball, but he's too clever. He's gone to Hosking. Hosking crashes through the gap that was created by Starling's intelligence and pass. Who gets a try assist? Starling does. But then Tom calls up Fox, right? I've got this off the record. On the fair dinkum stakes, it's true. He calls him up and he says, take that off, Rob, because he's too far in front of me.
There was no gap. There was no gap.
It was a pass off the ground.
It was a standard pass off the ground, threw it to Hosking, who there was no gap in front of, just as run through, just soft defense.
I disagree. I saw the two fingers
through a
up,
collapsing,
second post, at the post.
Collapsing Dolphins.
So
this is why you're wrong, and this is why you're right,
That's
Joe.
it.
So look, I own Starling, so I wanted him to get the try assist, but still, you're basically changing the criteria. We should have people like the guys who are doing the stats should have microphone, like there should be a microphone on Tom Starling so we can tell that he's called the play. Is that what you're saying?
You can see what he's doing. Like, mate, Harry Grant has been handed try assist points for that exact play since Jet was a boy, right?
Yeah.
Like, at least the last 2 seasons. And Tom Starling didn't. And you know why? Because he's short and he's ugly, right? Now, if he was good looking like Harry Grant, he would be getting points.
Remember Zella's same sort of story. He got a couple back to back in one game.
Yeah, he's a good-looking fella, right? But I think it's good. I think they just don't like Tom Starling.
It's the TS's, mate. Tom Sanks.
It's Central Coast prejudice. That's what it is. Yeah.
Right, what a red hot start to the show. Lots of Vegas chat earlier as well. You guys are catching up for the first time since
a lot of stories.
Infamous evening.
A lot of stories. Well, that was actually the final thought and the rant.
Yeah.
After the show, I'm going to the powers that be, storm me to the office and get Tom Sangster a ticket to Vegas. Dragons versus Bulldogs. Let's make it happen.
Make it happen. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of mates going.
Come on, News Corp.
I just don't want to work while I'm over there because
There's no work. You don't sleep in Vegas.
Yeah, that's the issue. I don't want to go on a work holiday. I want to go on an actual holiday. But it's the start of the Supercoach season.
Was the conviction? Did it lapse? Because you've got that issue of, like, it'd be really embarrassing to get Tommy bounced at the border.
Yeah. Let's not go into that. Anyway, Jet, I haven't even said hello to Jet yet. There's been too much chat. How are your trades shaping up this week?
Yeah, just making up for a silly thing I did last week. So getting Nanai in. So that's what I'm going to do. After talking him up last week.
You didn't go in. I heard your podcast last week.
No, I didn't go. I got over a few schooners after Anzac Day. I got talked in there going Mark Malong into Wase. So I'm just making up for not going him after he got 131 on Saturday night.
Ouch.
So I'm doing that. I want to get in King Toiger as well from the Dragons. I talked him up yesterday. I've pulled some more New South Wales Cup stats today if we need them. So.
Yeah, well, hit us up. So you're going him instead of guys like Savala, or you own Savala?
Yeah, I already own Savala, yeah.
So you reckon that he is the second best cheapie of the week, or would you go Savala first?
I think he's the best. Yeah.
You'd go Savala. You'd go him over Savala.
Yeah, 100%. Well, as 18 runs last week, 3 try assists, 3 offloads. Against the Roosters, he got a try assist, 18 tackles, 0 missed. And then against Parramatta a few weeks ago, he got 2 tries, 2 try assists. So he's got a lot more upside than Savala does. Savala, I've had him. I've watched him closely. He's just sort of steering the ship, playing that Chad Townsend role for the Roosters. He's got the duel, which is handy, but no one's really going to have him in halfback anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I'd be avoiding Savala if I didn't have him.
Yeah, the issue is that people need to free up cash, and Savala, for me, is probably the best guy of the week. I don't really want to do it. I feel a bit dirty about it. I don't think it's really a great purchase. But with that dual positioning, particularly in the back row, you can sell someone like Hubner or Dylan Egan or Thomas Cant, whoever it is. There's guys that need to be sold in that position, and he's the guy to bring in.
Yeah, that's a kicker as well. And then if you want to move further on, move Shannon Smith into the hooker and eventually, or one of those duels, the right duels, so you can get him back to halfback and sell a second rower. So it is a good duel. It's a good duel.
What are your trades this week?
Mate, for about 4 weeks ago, I had off Drinkwater for last week. I made a silly play getting Ponga in, trying to be a bit funky. Yeah. So I missed that trade. I'm going to go back Gutherson to Drinkwater.
Yeah.
And I think Dylan Lucas is in with Newcastle's good run. Effortlessly scoring 65. Surely they click sooner rather than later. So I started the year with Lucas. I'm going to go back to the well and back him in.
Yeah, I got Lucas in last week. What are your trades?
I'm getting Lucas because it makes sense. I looked at Drinkwater. This is in my flex spot, but look, I'm just going to go away from Drinky. Drinky was on 35 or something at half time, and then flew home, right?
We were saying yesterday he was on 3 after 30 minutes, and 4 of those were from a goal kick.
And that can happen because he's not the most engaged fullback, right? He doesn't make heaps and heaps of runs. But look, those who have him over the course of a year, he always scores well. So it's a good get. I'm not knocking it, but it works for the way my team's structured. I'm going to pick Dylan Lucas at flex, and then Purdue is about to peak. So next week I'll sell him and I can bring Lucas down. It's just the way, I can just, you sometimes play, you can play yourself into a corner trying to play on your trades ahead, but sometimes it makes sense to think, where am I going to go next week and the week after, and this is just going to fit better for me. And the other thing I'm going to do is Nuff. So I know it's early. I looked at Savala, but Savala's job is to kick long and hand the ball to Teddy, right? And make tackles. He makes 20 tackles and he kicks a lot. But in SuperCoach, that's 20 points. And I could see any money he makes disappearing pretty quick and he becomes a bit of an AE nightmare. So I'm going Ethan Roberts of the Roosters. His dual position, his bottom price. I'm assuming Crichton plays for the Blues. I think Lenyu's a chance and Connor Watson should as well. It's 3 spots at the Roosters to open up over the buys. I think Roberts could jag a spot then.
Great young kid as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think what all this sums up is that there's no really good cheapie this week. So you're going enough instead. You're going a guy who is playing his first game of the year. Hugo Savala, no one feels confident on. So let's go into the no-go zone. Who's your number one guy on that list?
Darby from the Cowboys. I just don't get it. I mean, against the Titans, 3 tries, penalty try, 130 odd points. It was at 20, 30 and 40 the weeks before. Yeah, I think Drinkwater likes to go left towards Purdue and Tuolangi, so I think it was a bit of a one-off. I just don't get the high number at 360,000 Ks. And I think we've made a lot of cash this year, and you got guys like I said, Purdue and Tamara that still haven't really flourished to their maximum profit, so I really just don't get it, because it's a trade in, trade out,
I had him on my list as well. He was my number one, but I'm going to go Billy Burns for my no-go. A lot of people are going there as a cheapie. I don't quite see it. He's got 2 more games to get that price rise in place of the bloke
Teague
Wilton. Yeah. But still, I mean, it's a tough call. I'd go Savala ahead at way cheaper price.
Yeah, for me, when I look at these players, I guess probably Shibasaki is one I didn't get it for the same reason. If not a SuperCoach player, you don't really become a SuperCoach player. So, Billy Burns has been around the traps for a while and never sort of exceeded.
Yeah.
I think he had a try assist and try on the weekend, which should have bumped up to 70 odd. Before that, it was 20 odd in 80 minutes or something. So, that's my sort of ethos. If they haven't sort of, struck the pot before, they're not going to do it again. So,
bit of the Jack Gajewski's.
Yeah, well, there you go.
6 missed tackles in him too. I don't rate him as a footy player much. Billy Burns as a Sharks fan. I wouldn't think his job security would be that good, even with Teague Wilton coming back in 2 weeks. I think Sifa Talakai could spell him on the edge this week. So my no-go this week is James Tedesco. I like to buy maybe 2 weeks ago, just not now. With he's got the Dolphins this week, obviously, but then he goes a buy into the Bulldogs. Does he get picked for Origin? Does he be 18th man? We don't know. If he doesn't get picked, I think he's a buy in round 12, but not this week.
I think you're right. I think Teddy's got in the next 4 weeks, I think he's got a bye, 2 tough games and a bye or something like that, or maybe it's 4 out of 5. But the time to get him was before, and now you've just got to wait till after. I had Billy Burns. You took him. I'll go Jack Whiten. That's the 10th most popular buy, and it doesn't make any sense. So the previous 3 games, he scored under 30. He had a big game, and Jack can do that. And look, my speculator, and this one's crazy, I know he's retired from Origin, but I reckon Laurie Daly's going to talk him out of it, and he's going to play centre. I don't think he should. I think it should be, Bradman Best and Crichton, but I reckon he gets picked into the Blues. He's sort of playing himself into that, but he's not SuperCoach relevant.
Yep, I couldn't agree more on Whiten. Even though he is in the $300,000, playing 5'8" this week probably doesn't suit him as well. So this is the move that you shouldn't make, but you can't help yourself.
Yeah, for me, it's Scotty Drinkwater. Like I said, I didn't like this trade 4 weeks ago, Yongi with the buy, and I was just so devastated that I couldn't do it last week. I'm very proud SuperCoach, as most of us are. I don't like to go a week after everyone's jumped on and after a big score, but I'm going to swallow my pride this time. I just think, we were talking about before, he's averaging 70 and not doing much. And the goal kicking's there. I think the Cowboys have turned the corner. They're at Queensland for the next, I think a dozen games, I think you were saying yesterday. So everything sort of leans towards it. I'm paying 50 grand extra, but I got Gutho, who looked like a grandfather on the weekend, so I've got to part ways. Effectively, I bought Guthrie at $6.90, so I've made money, even though I've lost money the last week, so it just feels right, but it just hurts the ego.
Yeah, mine's just not captain or forward. Everyone's sort of talking about it as an option. I just don't think it's that exciting. Terrell May and Payne Haas obviously very safe and good, but I love chasing that upside with like a Scotty Drinkwater and Nico Hines, one of those sort of guys, so I'll be doing that again this week. I won't be captaining Terrell May.
My guilty pleasure is nothing. Like, it's early, but I was looking at team values. My team value is about 15 and a bit million. Right? Most of ours would be. Previous years, it's taken me to around 13, 14 to get to 15 million. We've had this huge crop of cheapies, and the cash is there. So I don't mind going enough early. You got the flex as well. It gives you an automatic loophole option if you want to play risky with your captain. So I'll be risking my vice captain and playing May as my captain. But my guilty pleasure is enough.
Yep, I don't hate that call at all. Time for this week's best bets, powered by Better. Rob, how's your rolling bet going so far?
Well, I think I've had maybe 3 and got one of them up and 2 of them missed, right? So, but I'm going there again. Broncos to miss the top 4. I just don't buy the team. AFB to score against the Eels and Sherry to score against the Titans, 13-1.
Yep. AFB might be in a little bit of doubt, so we'll be chasing.
Even
that
on one leg, he'll score.
We'll be chasing that for. Well, he's got a shoulder injury and a groin
even on
injury.
one leg and one shoulder.
Yeah.
Also, I got to say, like you're a Sharks guy. He's a bit fat, isn't he? He's put on a fair bit of weight since the start of the season. He came in lean.
All the word was that he was fit as anything, and he does look a bit thick, doesn't he? But I guess it's because he's playing less minutes, so he can sort of afford to put that.
I mean,
Sifa
couldn't play 80 minutes these days. He's carrying a lot of timber.
Yeah, well, he has to. He's not a big guy and playing in the forwards. Yeah. I'm going, one of the great bets I hit 2 years ago at Magic Round, and he did it again 2 years. So he's done it 2 out of 3 years. He's selling Cobbo I'm talking about. He scored a hat-trick at Magic Round. So I'm buttering up again this year. He's playing fullback, not centre like he was last year when he didn't hit it. $29, so
good odds.
Yeah, just a Magic Round specialist selling Cobbo. So yeah, hat trick.
For me, fast, dry Suncorp track. I'm going some wingers to score. So I've got Ronaldo, Isaah Yeo, Bradman Best, Tuolangi and Montoya at $32.
Wow.
It's Suncorp, it's sunny.
Well, you're going $32. I'm going $2.25.
How are you going to pay for Vegas at $2.25?
I think the Panthers are going to win, even though it's against the Broncos. Broncos will be fired up at Suncorp, obviously, for Magic Round. But I think the Panthers, they show glimpses every now and again of being good, and I think that Nathan Cleary will fire up for this game. So I reckon the Panthers are a chance. On what's going to be, well, I know you said that it's going to be sort of hard and fast track. I actually reckon it's going to be a bog
up at the end of the
because
week.
they've had to replace half the turf there. I think it's going to be rough by the end of the round.
I'll take $32 anyway. I've got a Vegas trip to pay for, Rob.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Lots of questions coming through. How is Shibasaki a sell when he's the 4th highest averaging centre wing?
Because his job was to make money, and he's made, I'd say, 95% of whatever money he's going to make. You could hold him if you believe he's going to keep scoring tries and keep playing outside of anything he's done in all the years before. Or what you do is you cash him into a guy who you know's got that better history, more reliable, like you might get a Lucas, Beau Fermor's popular. They've got those big base. Or you go to a Carraz who didn't play for the start of the year, but you know what he's going to do. Shibasaki's job was to get us to the point where we can buy someone better.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone expected Shibasaki to make as much money as quickly as what he did either. So he was never really a Supercoach relevant player before this year. So as Rob said, move him on to someone that has that pedigree, like a Jacob Carraz or someone else that you like.
As a non-owner, I've watched him every week and just sort of like marvelled at how good he's gone for Supercoach. But he's hitting holes. They're humming on the left. Ben Hunt with those short balls. It's done. I mean, if you go to a Beau Fermor and bank 50, 60k, I would definitely do it. So
I'd also throw in, sorry to talk over you there, but that Ezra Mam's due back soon. Like Hunt has unlocked that side, right? And I think at the same time kind of killed Reece Walsh. In not in a bad way, just he's got a different way of playing. Ezra Mam's due back. We don't know what that's going to do for Shibasaki, so take the cash while you can.
Yeah.
Let's talk pod of the week. What are you thinking?
Jet, before you became a Supercoach hero, I was the biggest Nico Hines lover, man crush. He was a specimen in my eyes. He got me the victory back in 2020. So I think on the weekend, 78 points, close to 2 try assists. They scored 18 points as a collective team. He's going to explode very soon. Missed field goals. So for me, it's my boy Nico.
Well, I've got Nico as my number one as well at 18%. I know that's not technically like pod ownership, but for him it is at around 600k. It's a real bargain.
There you go.
Mine's I'm going to left edge back row again this week, chasing that matchup against the Titans. So the Titans right edge has conceded a bunch of points to back row. So I'm going Viliami Kikau this week. He's 590k, 3-round average of 69. So last week, Jeremiah Nanai scored 131 against the Titans. Hudson Young scored 126. And then Dylan Egan, who started in the left back row, scored 100. So I think Kikau's a huge shout to score a massive score this week. And they play the round 12 bye. So
does no burden help or hinder that?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Young Bailey Hayward getting the ball nice and early.
Well, Brimson could tear him apart, so Bailey Hayward should be able to. So yeah.
Like it.
I bloody Billy Kicks as well. Under 7% ownership. I think he's a really good pod. He's never been a worker. He's got a base of 30, 35. But everything he's doing, everything they're scoring down there, he's just pulling people in and offloading. I think he's a really good option. Yeah.
So we've all sort of agreed that there's not that many good cheapies. We know Sione Finau is probably the guy we're looking for. He's been dropped by the Dragons. Hugo Savala.
Someone had to pay the price for that massive Anzac Day win. Don't start. I've copped a lot of DMs about that recently. On to Hugo Savala. Let's elaborate a little bit more on him. I think he is the cheapie of the week, but he's still not a very good cheapie.
Yeah, for other reasons, the jewel's handier, but I wouldn't go there. His best game's probably, 30 points is his average. Yeah. You got luck with that try at the end.
He's very lucky to get over 30 points.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I think what Tom Roberts doing is knocking out. So you said Ethan Roberts. I think Miles Martin for the Raiders, Jewel, they play a lot of late games in the rounds as well, which I've looked at. So when you want to sort of loophole, so Miles Martin for me, if you wanted to go for that enough.
Look, everyone on this list we've already talked down, or you've talked up Luck and King Togi.
Yeah,
he's good, but I just want to have one look. I really want to have one look. And then Robert Darby, we've spoken about as a no-go. Billy Burns, is said as a no-go. And Jack Whiten is a no-go. Let's go on to captains for this week. What are we thinking? A lot of people are going the really boring, safe route with Terrell May and Payne Haas. So Terrell May at 25%, Payne Haas at 18%.
There's a worldwide probably against what you were saying before, but you could vice captain and captain into both of them, and you get that. With the flex and the sort of changing the rules, you take 90 plus, and it's not a slam dunk quick with the captain. Tedesco's got a great matchup. Ponga's out of form. Drinkwater's got a bit of a tough matchup. So I don't hate it. If I want to get a bit funky, I'm looking at Carraz against the Titans. Like I said, no burden on the left-hand side, so Sexton Tracy will be more dominant on the right-hand side. He was on 2 at half-time last week and come out and punched 50-odd. So the base is there, the offload's there, and he's due a try for sure. So maybe a vice-captain Carraz into Terrell May.
I'm in an interesting position this week because I've got no one on the bye and no one injured, so I can't vice-captain. I really wanted to put the VC on Nico Hines. I'm really tempted to captain him against the Eels. As you said, you think he's going to explode. I think I'm going to go Kalen Ponga this week. Jacob Saifiti's back, and so is Adam Elliott. I think it's huge for the Knights. No one's sort of looking at Ponga magic round. He's got plenty of magic about him, so I'm going to back Kalen Ponga to explode.
And it's Suncorp as well, so yeah, Queenslander could come out in.
Yeah, and the Rabbits are a bit injury plagued at the moment too, so Kalen Ponga for me. What are you doing?
Teddy, BC Teddy, C Terrell May. I'm just sick of stuffing up my captaincy picks. May, I know May's boring, but he's got consecutive tons. Just offloads for fun. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go boring. As I said before, like the turf has been completely replaced there at Suncorp. It's going to be cut up. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be really open football like we often see up at Suncorp. So I'm just going to go with the captain on a forward, probably Terrell May. But the VC will be on Nicho Hynes in that first game. On to our final thought. I know that you've probably got something saved up.
Justice for Tom. That's it.
We probably got it all out at the start anyway.
Yep.
Mine's just stick to your guns. It burnt me last week with Nanai. I was just wishing that I didn't take my mate's advice and stuck to my initial plan. So
name your mate. Name and show. Who was it?
Simon Bailey.
You had a shocker, Simon. Terrible.
Roosters fan too, so he's having a
good he's an alright bloke.
Yeah.
Mate, for me it was the Melbourne Storm captain challenge. The game I had captain on Pappenhausen. He was on 6. Or Grant Anderson and the bunker too, because Grant Anderson dropped the ball over the line. He could have got 110. It would have been different sort of outcome. So I'm filthy at the captain challenge.
Yep, fair enough.
Into the sin bin.
For me, so questions to end the show. Got a question about Sandon Smith. Would you be buying? You're a Roosters fan. Would you be buying Sandon Smith at around 500k? He's quite popular this week.
It's a lot of chasing last week's points, isn't it? As someone who owned him and didn't play him, I'm still a bit sad about that. But I got over it because the Roosters beat the Dragons pretty convincingly in the game.
It's barely been brought up at all in the last couple of days.
But would I buy Sandon Smith? No, probably not.
What about Herbie Farnworth? Any love for him? I mean, for me, it's Farnworth versus Beau Fermor, and Fermor is a lot cheaper. So I'm going to go with Fermor, who's just got that base. Plays in the forwards, available at centre wing, so I think he's at a good price. I'm going to go there and save money for elsewhere, but I really love what Farnworth is doing this season.
He's just been so consistent, tackle busting, offloading. Katoa just creates so much space, digs into the line, straight ends up. It's a pleasure. I coach under 11s, and I always tell my young kids, I go, watch Isaah Yeo just the way he squares up, because kids just want to go sideways. Anyway, that's enough about it. But the space he creates for Herbie is amazing. And he loves the action. He just jump in, he'll take a dummy half runs, he'll take the dirty hit ups off his own trial line, does the fancy stuff, he supports. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. If you want to lock someone in for the season, I think Herbie's the man.
Yeah.
I think Fermo's a great shout to play Origin this year, so there's that over the buy sort of period. So Herbie's a great buy. Well,
that is it for our preview podcast. Final thought is that we should all head to Vegas next year. Let's make it happen.
100%.
And we'll catch you. I'll do the late mail podcast tomorrow. We'll see you then.